Hello there, and welcome to the Dear Dyslexic podcast series, brought to you by Rethink Dyslexia, the podcast where we're breaking barriers and doing things differently. I'm Shae Wissell, your host, and I'm so glad you can join us. I'm a fellow neurodivergent, and I'm coming from the lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, where I live and work. And I would like to acknowledge and pay my respects to all the tribes across our beautiful country, and to all First Nations people listening today. Our podcast was born in 2017 out of a need to give a voice to the stories and perspectives of adults with dyslexia. And our voice has grown stronger year after year. We're now a globally listened to podcast with guests from all around the world. Join us for insightful conversations about living with dyslexia and other neurodivergences across all walks of life. Our special focus is on adult education, employment, social and emotional wellbeing, and entrepreneurship. We're excited to be bringing you this episode and invite you to like and follow us, or even better, why not leave us a review on your favourite podcast platform. So let's get started. Hi everyone, and welcome to the Dear Dyslexic podcast, where we are challenging assumptions, celebrating neurodivergence, and reimagining what's possible for dyslexic and neurodivergent minds in work and life. I'm your host, Dr. Shae Wissell, researcher, advocate, and proud dyslexic and dysgraphic. Today, we are talking about a topic that gets me really excited, because we are talking about AI as a superpowered tool for dyslexics and those that have other neurodivergent differences. Yep, you've heard me right. Artificial intelligence isn't just for tech geniuses or Silicon Valley coders. It's fast becoming one of the most powerful tools we can use to leverage our playing field. And we're going to unpack that today, because for me, AI has been life-changing in the way I work more autonomously, and I get so much more shit done now that I have ChatGPT and my other AI tools. So let's dive deep into some of the tools that I've been using, but really how AI can help us, not just in work, but in day-to-day life. So why AI and why now? Let's be real. For those of us that have dyslexia or other neurodivergent differences, traditional systems weren't built with our brains in mind. We've often tried to fit into boxes, whether it be spelling, grammar, staying focused, remembering deadlines, managing time, and that's just doesn't work for us. But technology, that's something that we can reshape to suit us. And that's where AI comes in. We're finally in an era where we don't have to struggle alone or hide the way our brains are working. Instead, we can start thinking about the tools that amplify our strengths and reduce the friction of day-to-day tasks. So let's have a look. For me in particular, with dysgraphia, writing can be an exhausting task when your brain processes words differently. So for me, I tend to get my tenses confused. I write from the middle out, which seems confusing, but I forget to put the intro and the conclusion. So it takes me quite a lot of time to remember to do that. And so that's actually understandable when someone reads my writing. And you would think, how is that possible? This person's done a doctorate, they've published research papers, they've written a book. And I'm telling you now that my writing is significantly impaired compared to my reading. So for me, some of the tools that have been really helpful in organizing my thoughts and making sure my spelling and grammar is correct because of my tenses. I use ChatGPT consistently. It's open on my other screen. And the way I use it is sometimes to help just structure or give a framework for what I'm trying to write, and down to social media posts it gives. But for me, what I've found is that we really are the subject matter expert. Even though Chat is building amazing information behind the scenes, it still can't replace at the moment us and our knowledge. So for me, it's helpful in drafting something, and then I have to go back in and put the content or be the subject matter expert. And so that's really important to know. You can't just rely on AI to do all the work for you. You need to be the subject matter expert and to be able to check it and validate what it's saying and to help you structure what you're doing. Text-to-speech apps are also really helpful, like Otto AI. Some people really like Dragon Natural Speaking, and although I don't use it myself, some of my clients do, and they find that it's really helpful, but it does take a little time to train your voice. I also love Siri because Siri can help me with spelling. So if I can't spell a word, a long time ago, because I'm old, I try and find it in the dictionary. But if we didn't know how the start of the words was spelled, then that was really challenging for us, or even looking up a thesaurus. But now I just ask Siri, and Siri will spell the word for me in a second. And now I don't have to yell to my husband down the hall how to spell a certain word. Grammarly is another really good tool to help with your spelling and grammar. It can help you restructure your sentences as well, so that you can start to see where you're making the mistakes. And for some people, they love that feedback because it gives you an update every week about how you're progressing. And so getting that validation that you are improving can be really helpful for some people. These tools can also put information into plain language summaries. So you can upload a document into Chat, or my new favorite, Google Notebook, and it will turn it into a briefing document with Google Notebook. It can turn it into a podcast. It is absolutely amazing. So dense documents or PDFs, or if you're doing work for uni, it can upload it and give you instantly some information about that document that can really help reduce some of that cognitive overload and fatigue that we can feel when we're reading as well. So AI doesn't roll its eyes at our spelling. It actually can be very kind to us. It doesn't get frustrated if you need something repeated or explained differently. It just does the job, and it's really fast. And it gives us back some precious time and confidence. And when your ideas can finally come out the way you want them to sound out of your head, that is really powerful and empowering for ourselves. Other ways that it can help with reading and writing and is also around staying focused and planning and executive functioning. So it can help with daily planners. AI can build one that breaks down tasks and reminds us, even encourages us. So helping with procrastination that we may feel, or that feeling of getting stuck and trying to start a task. If we're struggling, we can ask Chat to break it down so it doesn't feel so overwhelming and put it into bite-sized pieces. If we've got some time blindness, AI can help us to set timers. It can create alerts and even build habit trackers in. A really good tool actually that we use with our clients is Toggle, because that can track your time and then it can give you a report at the end. And so you can see, where are you spending all your time? Is it that it's on reading? Is it that you've gone down a rabbit warren and you've accidentally landed on the news feed and you spent an hour reading or doomsday scrolling like I sometimes do, but then you go back onto that task. So it really helps you just to work through where some of that time goes. One of my favorite hacks is using AI to help me draft emails or reports when my brain is bouncing everywhere, but I can't type. So sometimes I'll just do a brain dump, particularly into Goblin tool, which is a really awesome tool, and that can just restructure straight away. And what's great about Goblin tool is that it doesn't save, it runs out of your web browser. So then there's no security breaches. For some workplaces, there's security issues with using something like Chat, though a lot of companies are now using Microsoft Copilot, but that can really help as well. So it does take some time to get your head around some of these AI tools, but it really does save a lot of time, and it's not just convenient, but it really is liberating. So big picture, self-advocacy and accessibility. Here's the thing, AI doesn't fix us. It just makes the world more accessible. For years, dyslexics and those with other neurodivergent conditions have had to and still do work much harder than those that don't have neurodivergence. And others can take that for granted, that extra time they have to do other things that we don't have, because it takes us so much longer to process information, to write, to read, to calm our brains, to moderate the environment so that we feel comfortable in the way that we're working. So AI enables us to start to flip the script, really, and allow us to take back some of that precious time and to feel more autonomous in the way that we work. And now we can focus on our ideas, our creativity, and our problem solving, all the things that we're really, really good at and the things that we love in our work and in our life. Some people may say AI is cheating, but it really isn't. It's an accommodation, just like setting up immersive reader in Microsoft, where you can change the color of the background of your screen. You can make the font a different size. That's not cheating. It's just a tool. Or just like right now, I wear glasses. I'm not cheating to try and see. It's just I can't see long distance, and I'm getting older, so now I'm getting multifocals. Too much screen time. So we wouldn't say that having glasses is cheating. And I don't believe that AI is cheating either. It's just enhancing the way we work and enabling us to work to our full potential. So let's get into some tips around how else AI can help us. So if you're listening and you're thinking, okay, I want to try it, but I'm not sure where to start, here are a few quick tips. And I think I've run through a whole heap already, but let's just do a bit of a recap. There's ChatGPT, which is free, and also Chat can help us with drafting or summarizing long documents, like I said. You can use your voice, try Otto or your phone to dictate tool to capture your thoughts on the go. So for me, I actually use my note taker or just an audio recording, particularly when I was writing my book and I had lots of thoughts running around my head. If I went for a walk, I can articulate my thoughts much better when I'm talking than I can on paper. So I would generally talk to my phone and then go and email it to myself and take that part of the email and put it into my book and then rework it. Another really good tool is Fathom for note-taking. But with tools now like ChatGPT, Grammarly, speech-to-text apps, we are able to take our ideas and have them transcribed instantly, get help rewording or proofreading without judgment, and ask for plain language summaries of dense text that can help us really process and understand the information we are reading. So for me, ChatGPT is always open because I use it to help structure my thoughts. It can give me a framework for how I want to write something because my dysgraphia causes me significant difficulties compared to my dyslexia. So with my dysgraphia, I tend to write from the beginning out. And if you have dysgraphia, you'll understand what I mean. We have challenges in putting an introduction and a conclusion together. So sometimes my writing doesn't make sense and my tenses get really confused. I forget E's and D's, were and where get confused. And I just can't see it if I'm trying to proofread. And even though I've done my doctorate and I've written a book, I really struggle with writing. And I've had support throughout my life, as I've talked about. My mum, who used to do all my proofreading, and then my auntie, who really helped me with my doctorate, writing papers and my book, because I can't get the ideas out properly. I can verbalize them really well, but if I try to put them on paper, they just don't make a lot of sense. And so tools like Chat have really helped me to just get a structure to then how I can bring my own self to that writing. So for me, it's really about we are the subject matter experts in what we're writing, and AI can't take that away. So I'm a subject matter expert in dyslexia, and yes, it does know a lot about dyslexia because I've been training it. It also doesn't know if everything's right. So for me, I put my thoughts down and then I am the subject matter expert. So I have to check it's accurate. I have to put the references in. I need to make sure that if I'm putting it out into the world, it is my work. And so for me, using AI has been able to just give me that starting point because sometimes my brain is so jumbled and I just can't get it out. But now I can verbalize it into something like Chat and it will help me start to get a flow. And then I can start working really effectively. And I don't have to get help like I used to. I really need to ask my auntie to check anything now unless it's a really important email, an important document, because I'm just so autonomous now. If I have a spelling mistake or I can't spell a word, I ask Siri and Siri will give me the answer straight away. No judgment, no worries, no frustration. And this just reduces some of that cognitive overload and overwhelm that we can feel when we're trying to write something or read it. At Rethink Dyslexia, we are doing things differently. As a global leader in creating inclusive environments for adults with dyslexia, our commitment is to provide individuals with opportunities to live healthier, happier, and more connected lives. Through our range of tailored services, including coaching, learning and development programs, consultancy and training, we're helping dyslexic individuals, businesses and organisations to better understand and support their dyslexic employees. So if you're looking for insights, inspiration and expert advice on dyslexia and how you can provide inclusive practices and environments, then head to rethinkdyslexia.com to find out more or book your free consultation today. And one of the best tools I've recently found to help with reading is Google Notebook, LM. And so you can put a PDF document into this. It will upload it. It will transcribe it for you. It will give you a brief summary. It will provide a briefing document with all the key points. And then it will also create this awesomely cool but also odd AI podcast with two people talking about that paper or document. So it's really, really accurate. But again, if it's your work or you're writing something, you may have to make sure that you cross-check that it is accurate and that the referencing's right or whatever you're doing. And that's, again, where you as a subject matter expert comes in. Also, before we jump back into reading, other tools that are really helpful, Grammarly for spelling and grammar. And Grammarly gives you a report at the end of the week. So for some people, that feedback that they're improving or that they're struggling in certain areas can be really valuable. So Grammarly is an awesome tool to help. There are free versions and paid versions of everything, and I think that's one thing that you just need to check. But we will talk about Microsoft Immersive Reader, which is a free tool, in a bit. But I just want to go back to how important and helpful AI can be. It really does give us some of that time, but also really starts to help us feel confident, and our ideas can finally come out the way that they sound in our heads. And that really is very powerful. If we have trouble staying focused, planning, executive functioning can be impacted when we're neurodivergent. There are some AI tools that can help with that as well. So AI can help us with daily planning. It can help with adding in breaks and reminders, and even can give us encouragement. So ChatGPT can give you feedback on things. And time blindness. So if we're getting stuck or we're feeling like we're procrastinating because we can't start something. So for me, sometimes I just can't start it because I can't find the words. And the thoughts get all jumbled in my head. So AI can really help us in reducing some of that struggle and help us to start to reduce, again, that cognitive overload, because that's what we find is that by the end of the day, we're just exhausted because we haven't been able to, we've had to put so much more energy into staying focused, being planned. For me, I'm really organized at work, can never miss anything. As soon as I shut that computer, I can't find my wallet, I can't find my phone, I don't know where I've half unpacked the dishwasher and I've started a different task. So, I put so much time and energy in making sure work's okay that then I feel like everything outside of work can start to fall apart. So using some of these tools enables us to have a bit more energy at the end of the day to do all those other things that can be really frustrating for us. And that is why I love AI so much. And I had another point that's gone out of my head because I started waffling, time blindness. Another tool, that's what it was, is Toggle. Toggle is a tool that can help you track how much time you're allocating to a task. So if you notice that you've been spending 3 hours on an email, is it because you're struggling to write it? Or is it because you've gone down a rabbit warren and you've accidentally clicked the news feed when you've opened up Microsoft 360 and you've got that page that has all that different news coming through? I've actually turned it off, so I can't go down a rabbit warren anymore. Or doomsday scroll, because sometimes I find that I end up reading articles that depress me deeply and then I get sidetracked and I can't get back focused onto work. So Toggle's really good because you can track your time, you can allocate times to different tasks, and then at the end of the week you can see where all that time's gone and you can see whether you can be a bit more efficient in some of the tasks that you're doing. So we've ticked off writing. And we've talked about managing some of that cognitive overload around staying organized, planning, blocking out time, taking breaks is so important, and I don't do it enough. Sometimes if I'm hyper-focused, I end up working for maybe 5 hours and I realize I haven't had a drink and I haven't stood up, even though I have a stand-up desk. So building in those breaks and using AI can be really, really helpful in making sure that our brain actually gets a rest and we don't get, again, too cognitively overloaded and then that mental fatigue at the end of the day where we just can't function. So it does take some time to learn these tools, but it's not just about convenience. It's about liberating ourselves in the way that we work. We're going to now have a quick chat about some of the tools that can help with reading. So we spoke a bit about Google, also text-to-speech. So Speechify is a really great tool that we talk to our clients about, where you can upload documents into it and then it will read it back to you. So it's really helpful if you're an auditory learner like myself. I'm really good at absorbing information if I listen to it. Then this might be a really good tool to help you. You can read PDFs, websites, emails. And I think that's really important because sometimes, like for me, when I read something, I misunderstand it. So then I can go down the wrong track, or I can get upset or frustrated because I think I've interpreted something the wrong way. And so being able to hear it as well can be really, really helpful. Again, there's paid versions and free versions. So today's talk also is not about, we are not sponsored by any of these tools. We don't get any funding from them. Maybe I should ask them to sponsor a podcast. But these are really just tools we've been working through and building a catalogue of that we know can help. And they're changing all the time. Like the Google Notebook is amazing. And I've just recently learned about that. So another tool that I haven't really looked at but it's been recommended is the Beeline, which is you can add it to your web browser, and it's an AI-based formatting tool to improve visual tracking. So for some people, the words can move on the page, or it's easier if they reduce this text so that they can just focus on a couple of lines at a time. So Beeline Reader helps with color coding text. It breaks text into more readable chunks, and it highlights key points or headings for you. And this reduces eye strain and makes it easier to follow, especially for those that find that reading off a screen is really challenging as well. But I think for everyone that works at a computer, the first thing you must do is set up Microsoft Immersive Reader. It's built in, and we can share a little YouTube clip, and we've shared it in our Facebook community before on how to use it. It's in Microsoft, and it helps with line focus. You can change the background colors. You can add syllable breakdown, which I find a little bit hard to read, and it can give you text spacing. So for me, I find that having like a light cream color can be really helpful if I'm tired in reading. And so it also reads it back to you, and you can dictate. So some really good tools for helping reduce that cognitive overload again. And I think really for a lot of people, mixed reading with visuals and audio can be really helpful. And another AI strength is its ability to support multimodal learning. Tools like YouTube's AI generating captions and AI summary videos and interactive diagrams can allow us to learn through listening and watching, not just reading. And so this really helps reinforce information and how we're absorbing and how our brains work differently. So there's just a couple of ways that we use AI, but I think, what people need to be considering is that AI doesn't fix us. It just makes the world more accessible for us, and it makes things easier for us. So an example when I do presentations is how Google Maps, like if we didn't have Google Maps, I would not be able to leave my house, basically. And so even though it does a pin drop and it still takes me 10 minutes sometimes to find where I'm going, Google Maps has been life-changing in the fact that I can travel and not get lost and not have to call my sister and ask her how to locate me and get me out of where I am. Because I used to get lost all the time. And so even though I still struggle with that, Google Maps has enabled me to reduce the amount of time it takes me to get lost and to find the location. So for me, AI is leveling the playing field and enabling us to work at our full potential. And, it's not a cheating tool. Sometimes when I work with clients, they think, oh, it's cheating or it's not really my authentic self. But if you use these tools and you remember that you are the subject matter expert and you must go back and check and review and add to, it's not cheating. It's just enabling us to work faster and leave us with energy to manage everything else in our lives. It's the same as using glasses. I wear glasses because I'm short-sighted and I'm getting old now and I need them to see the screen. Or that just could be because I'm on a computer all the time. But, we wouldn't say that wearing glasses is cheating. We'd say that it was a useful tool to ensure that we can see what we're doing and we're able to manage day to day. And that's the same with AI tools. So I really think that if you're listening and you're curious, please have a go and try some of these free tools first, like ChatGPT or a voice recording. So even for me, when I go walking, sometimes I've got great ideas, so I just record them in my phone and then I email them to myself. So give it Siri a try is even the first starting point. Some people are so used to doing everything the old way, and I was the same. I always used my mum to proofread. I always had a human being, but I don't have that opportunity anymore because my mum's no longer here. And even though my auntie feels like she's out of a job, I don't have to put her under pressure in responding really quickly to things anymore. I can work autonomously, like I said at the beginning. If you're struggling with deadlines or staying organized, use an AI-powered calendar tool like Motion or Notion AI. Start small, like I said, with something like Siri, and you'll be surprised at how fast you start to adapt and start to love these tools. And we'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback on what tools you might be using that you think are helpful. Or if you have a question, please send it through to us, because we'd love to keep this conversation going around how AI can improve and really empower us to work, live and play. And that's what we want to be able to do. So here's the thing. It's not about avoiding those tasks that we find difficult because of our neurodivergence. It's about changing how we access information so we're not consistently fighting our brains to learn and to do things. AI doesn't just help us write better, read better, stay more organized. It helps us understand better, process faster, and stay engaged longer. And that's what we want. For so long, reading, writing tasks for me have been a barrier that have held me back. But now with AI, not just for me, but you in our pockets, we don't have to keep up with the norm. We can just set our own pace, and it's our own way. And that is really, really empowering. So to all my fellow neurodivergents out there listening today, we're not broken, we're not lazy, we're just wired differently, and different is powerful. And with these tools, we can start to really take back some of that ownership, I guess, or take back some of the power around feeling disempowered because of the challenges that we have. AI isn't about replacing us at all. It's enabling us. And I think that's the exciting thing. Some people fear that it's going to take their jobs, but I really feel for neurodivergent individuals, it's helping us work with our brains, not against them. And this may be the only podcast you hear me talk about a superpower, but I really do believe that AI is a superpower for us, and that it can change your life like it's changed mine. So again, please leave us comments, give us feedback and thoughts about AI tools you might be using that we can add to our toolbox. And I really appreciate you tuning into Dear Dyslexic show today. And if you found this episode helpful, please share it with your friends, or even better, leave us a review. Every little bit helps reach our amazing minds just like you. So until next time, keep showing up, keep speaking up, and keep thinking about how you can do things differently in your life to live to your full potential. Thanks again. Bye for now. If you haven't done so already, make sure you sign up to our mailing list so you can keep up to date with everything we are doing at Rethink Dyslexia. So head to rethinkdyslexia.com.au. And don't forget, if there's anything you heard today that was distressing, you can contact Lifeline on 13 11 14 or Beyond Blue on 1300 22 46 36. Thanks for listening, and bye for now.
Oh, yeah.